What you're looking at right now is the future of Googling using Google's new Search Generative Experience, also referred to as SGE. And listen, before you say, Vivian, I'm running a business, I really don't care what new AI feature Google is releasing. You need to. SGE is not just a feature. It is going to change the way that people see and find information on Google. And if you happen to have a website for that business of yours, well, I guarantee you it's going to change the way that you appear in those Google search results. So let's take that first step in preparing together and walk through exactly how SGE is changing the format and presentation of these search results and the 4 steps that you can take to get ahead of this big transition in Googling. There are 4 key differences that SGE is making with the presentation of these search results. And if you're thinking, there's nothing wrong with Google search, I can find what I need in a matter of minutes. Google disagrees. According to them, the new generative AI-powered search experience will help you take some of the work out of searching, so you can understand a topic faster, uncover new viewpoints and insights, and get things done more easily. So instead of asking a series of questions and piecing together that information yourself, Search now can do some of that heavy lifting for you. Before I show you these 4 changes on the screen, the biggest takeaway is to understand that Google is not looking to replace our information or our business's website with AI-generated content. An AI machine is only as good and as valuable as the information that's being fed to it, because it's got to learn from somewhere, and that's where we come in. The content, the blog post, all of the stuff that we have on our small business website is feeding the AI machine. The reason I want you to know this up front is because I want to squash any fears you may have that your business website is not going to get traction anymore or that traffic's going to fall. The truth is, just like with anything else, technology changes and there's going to be a new way to play that Google game. But you're watching this video, so you're already ahead of the curve. So let's take a look at these 4 changes that Google claims is going to do the heavy lifting for all of us Googlers out there. Number 1, a concise AI response. The SGE answer that is generated for whatever you're Googling will appear right here at the very top of the page in a box with the words "Generative AI is experimental" right above them. This SGE response is AI generated, but what the AI is doing is actually going out there and finding the best resources and information and then compiling and packaging that all up in a very concise way. So the goal here is for them to provide the Googler with the most precise, concise, and relevant information. Number 2, adding carousel links. Because the AI is scouring the interwebs and pulling together all of the information to provide the Googler with the exact information that they're looking for, here at the tippy top of the page, you'll notice that they will now feature carousel-style links to the right. Notice that an image displays with each one of these links. Now, while you only see 3 appear at a time on the screen, you can scroll and see additional carousel links. These are all going to be linked to the most useful pages that Google can find out there that is relevant to provide additional information for whatever that specific search is. Number 3, improved search queries. There are 3 really big improvements that SGE is bringing to the table when it comes to search terms and phrases. Number 1, there's going to be a little more wiggle room when it comes to those search terms and phrases that we're able to put into that Google search bar. Gone are the days of us having to make sure that we're really specific with our keywords or phrasing. That means that essentially you can put a more complicated phrase into that search bar. The idea being that the AI is going to be able to recognize when it has to deduce and break down that question so that it can find all of the components, package it up, and present it to you in a nice, neat little package. But let me show you. Let's go ahead and take the same search term and compare it to what it currently does right now in Google and then what it does with SGE. Let's search, what is the most important consideration I need to take to build my chicken coop? All right, let's see what it looks like in regular Google search. Here are all of the results. It is providing us with information and linking us to useful blogs. However, at the end of the day, we still have to sift through all of this information to find what is most useful for what we're looking for. You'll then see discussions in forums, videos will even be linked further down, and at the bottom, of course, it'll link to products. By comparison, this is what that same search looks like with Google SGE. Notice what it's done is it's actually breaking down the search query. So we gave it a pretty complicated phrase, and it has compiled all of the information and really just packaged it up nicely for us right here. It's concise. It tells us exactly what consideration we need to take. Additionally, over here, you'll notice that it links to some of the most useful websites. And you can scroll through here to see all of the different websites that it thinks is most useful for what we're looking for. If you continue down here, it does have some additional snippets that it thinks is extremely useful, and it allows you and encourages you to actually continue the search by prompting you with other relevant questions that you may have in regards to your search query. So notice how the template and the layout just looks completely different. If you continue to scroll, then you're going to see very similar videos and whatnot, but the layout is just much more concise and useful. Number 2, along these same lines, SGE is now going to have the capability to have a more conversational style when it comes to understanding what we're inputting in that search bar. That ideally means we won't have to spend as much time going in and revising the search terms or phrases to get exactly what we want. By the way, if you think all of this looks really cool and you personally want to start using Google with SGE, go ahead and go to the link down below in our description, and we'll go ahead and send you instructions on how exactly you could turn those features on. Number 4, products will appear differently. Because SGE is intended to give a Googler a quick, no-fluff response, the products that are displayed at the bottom of these SGE answers are going to be filtered to fit what the user is looking for. And that can mean anything. It can fit the style, color, material, or any of those descriptors that they've included in the search terms. Now, reviews will also appear to the side of them, as well as pricing and a useful description. Does this mean I have to rethink my entire SEO strategy? Yeah, you'll have to approach SEO differently altogether. But there are 4 steps that you can take as a small business owner to ensure that you stay ahead of the curve. Now, the reason I say ahead of the curve is because obviously not all Google users are using SGE right now, but we do know that as the years go by, more and more people start to utilize it. There's this nice little bell curve that's always used with the implementation of any new technology, whether that be internet, cell phone use, or even ChatGPT. So the fact that you can address and start to take these steps in thinking ahead of how you're going to have to pivot your SEO just means that you're going to be one of the early players to showing up in those SGE results. Number 1, specificity is the name of the game moving forward. Because SGE is going to favor information that's an exact match to what the Google user is looking for, you're going to want to steer away from just covering broad topics. So what that means is you'll want to go in and take a look at all of the information that you have on your website and on your blogs to see if it's just broad and generic. Then you'll want to change that moving forward. The more detailed and specific you could get on a particular topic, the better it's going to be for your chances of getting on that SGE search result. Number 2, revise the structure of your content. Now, regardless of if it's on your web pages or on blog posts, you're going to want to go in and just take a look to see how the actual information you've laid out is structured. There are going to be a few things that you can do to work in your favor. For example, you can add a paragraph at the very top of your blog post that is very concise and that will tell people exactly what they're about to read or the topic that you're covering within that blog post. GSE has been shown to actually favor blogs that do this because they're able to take that snippet and share it within their AI generated search result. Number 3, make your product descriptions meaty. So remember I mentioned that SGE is looking to match people with products of exactly what they're looking for. So that means that if they're looking for a red sleeveless lace dress, you want to be sure that you're including that type of information in your description, because if it's an exact match, it's going to be presented. So just be sure that your descriptions for your products are really good and that you provide as much detail as you possibly can about what you're selling. Number 4, resubmit your changes to Google's Search Console. So basically what this does is it tells Google that you've had an update on your web page or within your blog post, or that you've created new web pages or blog posts that then they can include in the new SGE search results. Now, if this is something that you don't know how to do and you think it would be helpful for me to actually make a tutorial on how to go about resubmitting stuff through Google Search Console, go ahead and just let me know down in the comments below, so that way I can take that into consideration here in the future. Hey, if you're an SOB, small owned business, then stick around and watch this next video right here. Also, don't forget to go check out our website at theseasonedmarketer.com to view all of our marketing resources, including free downloads and pre-made templates.